So it is March 27th, 2022. I'm going to have one of these non-explicitly labeled vegan food items that I used to eat in the past, where it was at one time explicitly labeled on their packaging vegan, but I didn't see any vegan logo, or I may have just not checked for the little. They may had changed the where they had it written explicitly vegan to maybe they used the heart symbol with the the vegan type certified vegan type thing. I don't know. I didn't look that carefully, but I did look at the ingredient list, and it seemed to not have had changed. Bridget, always just sealing this Ziploc bag here, right? Had transferred them to instead of its original packaging. So I'll explain what I did here. So I'm storing the English muffins in a Ziploc bag. I took one. I wanted to take a little taste test. Not that much, you see. So far, it's okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I did read the ingredient list carefully. I went as far as comparing other items that that they sell that are vegan, or at one time they were labeled vegan on the outside of the packaging. But on the allergy list, it said just contains wheat and soy. So those are two vegan items, but they're known to be people allergic to wheat-based products and soy. So that's like the known allergen section. It didn't list anything about eggs or dairy or milk. So and it's also free from high fructose corn syrup, which is good. The burp. Oh man, it's there you go. Years ago, before I decided to stick to veganism, I wanted to see if I was reacting in the past to the casein and dairy items 6 months beforehand. 6 months before being strictly vegan for the first time, like 19 years ago. I had tested milk chocolate, like 1 milligram worth of milk chocolate. I noticed I was getting this, it's almost taking a small microdose of a painkiller. That's the way I would describe it. And I had posted a YouTube clip of a Family Guy, a clip from a Family Guy television cartoon show episode where the father is at various moments throughout the series where he's taking different substances, and they didn't mention what. I don't think they mentioned that. Oh yeah, he said, "I think I can do even cocaine if I wanted to." He didn't say that he was on coke or anything, but and I was associating that type of way of thinking as very like identical to the symptom that BCM7 or Casein, Caseomorphin behaves like. But the thing is, people don't realize that it's because of that. they could be eating it every day, not realizing that they're thinking that way, and it's until they stop and become a vegan for at least 6 months straight, and then test like maybe a milligram worth with, let's say, a supervision of their doctor or something like that. Because basically it's also addictive. BCM7, Casein, Caseomorphin is extremely addictive. It's like makes one be like, oh, I'll be okay. I can have another piece of milk chocolate. I'll be okay, And the way one thinks is like, oh, I can do anything. I can even do cocaine if I want to, and get away with it. That was exactly the way that. So we grew up being taught in school, what was considered a gateway drug. Let me tell you, BCM7, casein, Caseomorphin found in dairy is actually more, let's say, subliminally stealthy and sneaky, and more of a problem than, let's say, Dutch Passion blueberry cannabis, because I've had that before. The only thing with that is that when it wears off, it's just like with me, and when the ginger I add to my food wears off, I get like when I eat ginger and when I include it in my food, it like completely blocks out like nuances or annoyances. It's just like it cuts off like me from even perceiving it as being annoying. And then the next morning when I wake up, it's like I have to put my headphones in my ears almost instantly when I hear people starting to do work around, when I have other family members doing like chores and things. I'm like, you should just be like resting in, or like just not even opening up the curtains right away or something like that. It's where if I was still eating the ginger, or if it was still active in my brain, I wouldn't even like, they would just be doing their thing, and I'd just be like completely like, not even aware of what they're doing. I'd be aware of it, I would see them doing it, but it wouldn't affect me as much. But when it wears off and then I see them doing work, I'm like, oh my god, just like take it easy. Don't even like, I don't even want to deal with that. You know what I mean? I don't even want to like. So that's the way I remember when, let's say, I was in high school. This was like 2 years before my bad incident when I was 18. I was like 16 years old or something. And I kind of freaked out in the middle of class because what happened? I got upset with the way the teacher was treating one of the students at the time, and then like, yeah, it was similar to that type of thing, but it was a little bit more intense at the time because that stuff is actually quite stronger than ginger, but that's okay. It was like, it was very similar to that, and that's why when I had posted screenshots of the way Shogol, if that's the way you pronounce it, which is ginger oil, or oil extracted from ginger, or just ginger, and once it's heated, it produces a new chemical structure. It changes it from gingerol or gingerol to shogol. And so they both behave differently, whereas I've had ginger oil in two different forms. I have a tincture in one room, and it was quite strong and not as enjoyable as, let's say, ginger oil that I've had in hard candy, which behaves similar to like, it could be considered like an over-the-counter lozenge, and kind of like a natural anti-anxiety and melatonin regulator to help with the sleep-wake cycle. But ginger does that in general. But the thing is, it the ginger oil and the hard candy that was kind of like an over-the-counter lozenge uh, behaves better in a very relaxing way, the way I would describe it. Whereas it's not the same as, let's say, an opiate like BCM, Casein, and Caseomorphins react with the opioid receptors. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's not the same type of thing. Whereas anything that reacts with the opioid receptors, it releases dopamine. You know, in the case, usually the natural things that would be considered opiates that would, let's say, be even poppy seed. But BCM casein, casomorphin is stronger than, let's say, eating something with poppy seeds in it. It is. It's more neuroreceptive, and so I am extremely able to detect it. But the thing is, I get hooked years ago, and then it was very, very difficult. It took me 6 years of 6 months for it to remain vegan for the first time. Tried 1 milligram of the milk chocolate to try reintroduce to see if I got a reaction, to be able to isolate and determine that was the cause of the issue at one point. And then I just stayed vegan for 6 years afterwards. The first 6 years it took. Beyond that threshold, I was free from the cravings of going back to things like chocolate and the non-vegan cake and stuff like that. Because by that time, they had more vegan items in the grocery store too. But I don't have the same cravings as I had maybe 19 years ago plus 6. And then once I was beyond those 6 years, those cravings, when I hear like the chocolate ads and things, it doesn't cause any type. Or when I'm in the same room as someone eating pizza, I say that smells really good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it and stuff, but I can't have it, And I don't crave it though anymore. Whereas, let's say 19 years ago plus 6 years into being a vegan, throughout that entire time when I was driving my father back with, let's say, a pie of pizza from the pizzeria, it would be tempting. Like, I would really want it. And even maybe the first few days of trying veganism, there was times where I had, maybe had a little relapse here and there. So, it could be a problem. Yeah, but the way I would describe it is that, just like the clip in Family Guy, and the one clip where he's sitting in the restaurant with his guy friends, and he's like, I think I could do anything. I could do cocaine even if I want to. Even if I want to that's like the internal programming of what BCM7 Casein, Caseomorphin seems to like trigger or execute. It's like it's as if it's like some type of integrated circuitry that causes that type of, even at that I think he said, even if I wanted to, and then they followed through with it usually. They think there's more chances of feeling more invincible or immortal, like as if or immune, in comparison to the actual reality of the situation. It's like they don't care. In some ways, it depends. It became worse after the age of 18 in my early adulthood with that whole type of but that's normal for people in their early 20s, especially when they come close to the age of being able to purchase alcoholic beverages legally for the first time in their lifetime, you know.